You are now listening to the What Now with Jae Podcast, turning the past into a present filled with opportunity, with your host, Jae.
Do you preserve or do you take action to preserve your own health? For me, I think it is something very important to consider. If we don't take that time out to formulate a routine or just relax, whether it's a one day or start something new, maybe self-care Saturday, self-care Sunday, to just implement and begin something new for yourself. When you hear the words self-care, what honestly comes to mind? The definition according to Oxford Dictionary states that self-care is the practice of taking action to preserve or improve one's own health. So by that particular definition, I would conclude that self-care can look different for everyone. Well, when I think of self-care, it is not only the massages, waxing, pedicures, manicures, bubble bath, working out, all of those things. Self-care can mean something different for everyone. And taking a look at the word itself actually means taking care of self. I definitely feel that self-care is anything that makes you feel good. Anything that makes you feel good about yourself, actually. It can mean just relaxing, sleeping in later, or just taking a day off, resting. It can honestly mean just cutting out certain things out of your life, whether that be people or things that you're used to doing that's not good for you. Could be drinking, eating certain foods. All of those things are self-care. A few weeks ago, I posted a question on my Instagram asking for what you would like to hear me discuss more about. And one particular question was where someone asked, how do I balance self-care without being selfish? And is there a difference? Welcome to What Now with Jae Podcast. I am your host, Jae, author, educator, and world traveler. On today's episode, we will be talking about self-care. I do believe that we sometimes feel guilty, or should I say we feel a little selfish when we think of self-care. What I mean by that is if you're someone that's so used to doing for others, when you eventually start doing something for yourself, you kind of feel guilty about it. You feel as if you're not taking care of others, or you feel like it's such a guilty thing to just put yourself first. And that honestly should not be the case. I often think of when I'm on my job, I think that really stood out to me when I have to make certain announcements, or in this case, I have to brief the mothers when they have an infant child in their arm on the flights. And I have to honestly tell them that in case of an emergency, you make sure if the oxygen mask deploys, you take care of yourself first. Because in order to take care of your child or anyone else you're traveling with, you have to make sure that that mask is on your face and you're able to breathe. Otherwise, you won't be able to help anyone, let alone your infant child. So I think about that when I think of self-care. And I think if we, you, myself, if we don't take care of ourselves, how can we honestly take care of others if we're not feeling good enough to take care of ourselves? So to answer the question, do I feel guilty? Honestly, yes, I used to, but I have learned that taking care of myself gives me more time and And it allows me to pour into those people around me, my family, my friends. I believe that we have to fully take care of ourselves in order to pour into others. It should never make you feel guilty. It should actually make you feel proud of yourself to actually want to do more for yourself, because what you do for you is something that you're able to give to others. And even if you're just doing it for self, no, never feel guilty about that. I still go through those moments where I'm out and I see certain things that I may want to purchase. And I'm sure you've gone through that as well. It's almost like you can spend so much on other people, whether it's your family, whatever the case may be. And you have no problems just picking up a certain item. You don't even look at the cost of it at times. And you're like, oh, they would love this. And then you find something or you see something that you like and you look at the price and the first thing you do is like, no, I can't get this for myself. I've gone through that so many times, and I find that I put myself last. And just recently, as a matter of fact, I won't say just recently, within the past few years, I find that I'm able to do a little bit more for myself without feeling guilty. Not going to lie, I'm a little apprehensive at times about spending on myself or doing certain things for myself, but I'm learning to let down my guards and just taking care of self. It actually makes me feel good, and I'm sure you know that feeling. I would definitely like to hear from you guys in regards to that, because that is something I still have some trouble with, but I am definitely working through it. It is easier to do for others than to do for self, but I'm trying to put that on the flip side, where it is easier for me to do for myself than doing for others. I think we have been brainwashed into thinking that taking time out for self is a selfish thing. How can it be selfish? It's almost like having that meal, if you don't eat, if you don't nurture yourself, you can't be good for anything. You can't be good to go to work. You can't be good for the people around you. So self-care is nourishing yourself. All of the things you do for yourself, going on walks, listening to music, all of those things that you enjoy and brings a smile to your face. Self-care is anything that brings some kind of peace and balance to your life. But honestly, as I've said before, I think self-care, it definitely looks different for everyone. It could be going on those solo vacations that I discussed in previous podcasts, but having a cup of tea, sitting somewhere quietly, just being in your own company, enjoying those moments. Anything that just makes you feel good inside is self-care. Definitely look to put yourself as a priority, or treat yourself as a priority. Take care of self, your mind, your body, your soul. Oftentimes, I think we allow others to make us feel bad or guilty about the things that we do for ourselves. And we so desperately try to please others, or you just don't want anyone around you thinking negative or saying bad things about you. Oh, she's just so selfish, or why couldn't she invite me, or why is she always traveling, or why is she doing this for herself? Whatever the case may be, you are doing something for yourself. And have you ever considered that those same people around you, regardless of who they are just saying those things because they wish that they could do exactly what you're doing? So just think about that. Don't worry about the noise around you. Taking care of yourself is not a selfish thing. It is not a bad thing. You are definitely worthy of the things you do for yourself. You definitely should not feel guilty. You are definitely not selfish. And self-care should be considered as a healthy thing. Learning to say no is also a form of self-care. Sometimes we can allow ourselves to be drained by constantly being a yes person, doing exactly what others around you expect or got used to you doing, for most of your time around them or most of your life. And it's so difficult for us to say no, or for someone to say no, that the people around you, they get used to that and it becomes draining. Learn to say no. That is a form of self-care.
Like the podcast so far? Be sure to download and share this episode with a friend. Also, make sure you stop by and say hi. Tap that follow button on Instagram at Montego_JAE. Now back to the episode.
At this part of the episode, I would like to give a quote. And this particular quote I have used before. Self-care is giving the world the best of you instead of what's left of you. Katie Reed. Here are a few things I would like for you to do. Please leave your comments on my Instagram, your thoughts about your personal self-care routines, as well as you could go ahead and try incorporating a self-care Saturday or Sunday by simply doing something good for yourself.